I'm David Hunt. I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Woburn. I'm known best for my involvement in various community activities. I'm basically known as a member of the Woburn Medical Reserve Corps. You've seen me at the Woburn Relay for Life for several years, along with the Veterans Concert and other events that take place in Woburn. As you know, last Tuesday on the 8th, there was a devastating fire. This was a 3-alarm fire that wiped out the businesses and livelihoods of several local merchants. I obviously could not just stand by and watch this happen helplessly. These merchants are our friends, our neighbors, our family members, and they've lost everything. Several of the businesses have not been able to reopen. While a couple are operating out of remote locations, the rest of them are completely out of business at the moment. What's that mean? That means that their rent, their mortgages at their home, car insurance, life insurance, other expenses, food, clothing, those bills don't stop just because the fire is out. These people need our help. There was no method whatsoever put and organized to get help to them. I know the city council and the mayor is doing everything they can possible for getting public grants, but that is a slow process despite the great efforts of our city officials. Something has to be done to help them immediately.
So Dave, how many businesses were affected by the fire?
About several businesses. At the end you have MGM Management, which wasn't affected as much. They should be opening shortly. And of course Lewis Barbershop is currently open. One of our favorite restaurants, Cousins, is hoping to be opened up shortly. P&M Lock is basically devastated inside. It looks like a war zone, and he is operating out of a remote location temporarily. And we also have a More and More, which right now is not reopened. She's hoping to reopen shortly, but again, the biggest concern is they don't even know if they can use the building, if it's structurally sound, or where they're going to go temporarily.
So are those what are the problems that the merchants facing at this point, other than the structural problems?
Well, the biggest problem is the people that do have insurance, obviously the deductibles, which means if you bought a piece of equipment 10 years ago and you go for insurance now, they're going to give you depreciation, which is about 10 to 20 cents on the dollar, which means that's great, but you still have to spend 80% to re-get the equipment. The biggest problem is, like take Phil from P&M Lock. He's been known here since 1973. Everybody looks to the right when they're driving by to see P&M Lock. If he was to move across the street or down the street or in a temporary location or ultimately have to relocate, people would think, hey, he's out of business. I don't see P&M anymore. And that's just devastating for these people that have worked so hard. They've established themselves downtown and they don't know what their future is based on the structure of the building or the time to rebuild.
So what are your plans to raise funds?
My plans are very simple. I've organized a fund at TD Bank, and anybody, citizens, corporations, companies, people young and old can donate any amount whatsoever. Nothing is too big or too small. The fund has been established at TD Bank, and their mailing address is 280 Montvale Avenue, Woburn, and of course our zip code is 01801. The name of the fund is the Woburn Downtown Fire Relief Fund. Once again, that's the Woburn Downtown Fire Relief Fund. A check of any amount whatsoever would be appreciated. These people have nothing and their bills are continuing. We are also planning on doing a fundraising breakfast at the American Legion. I'm getting a lot of support from members of the Kiwanis that want to help. Obviously, this cannot be done alone. This takes a lot of help. I'm also calling upon some of the merchants of the city of Woburn to help me out. If I can get some of the food donated, that money would be 100% going to the victims of the fire and not paying for food. I do have to recognize especially Genoa Sausage in Woburn. They've already agreed to donate the breakfast sausage, and I hope other merchants are going to follow on board. So again, the more food that's donated, the more money can go to the victims of the fire.
So how are you doing all this? Are you getting any help?
I'm getting some help from the Kiwanis. They've been instrumental so far in helping me out. The American Legion has been kind enough to donate the hall. That saves us a fortune in having to rent a hall for 4 hours plus setup. Of course, we're using their kitchen and their expertise, and hopefully some of their members will help cook, because I certainly can't cook. I can do a lot of things, but if I cook, no one's coming to the breakfast.
So tell me more about the breakfast and what it costs.
The cost of the breakfast is going to be about $10 a person. However, we highly encourage larger donations if possible. We think $10 is a fair fee. We're going to have sausage, scrambled eggs, juice, coffee, and home fries and whatever would come at a normal breakfast. We're also going to be having a raffle. Several merchants have already donated prizes. We hope the raffle can generate a larger income for these residents that need you so badly.
I noticed in the square there's a sea of blue posters. What are those?
Exactly, a sea of blue. That's exactly what I've been calling it. Last week I spent the afternoon down Woburn Square talking to fellow merchants, and they've all put in the posters describing how you can help, which is basically the bank information. At that time, we did not have the breakfast information. So anywhere in Woburn Square you look, all the merchants have rallied in support of their fellow businesses. Remember, this could happen to them. How would they feel if they lost their business, suddenly lost everything? They have employees, they have help, and their income stops. And remember, when you're self-employed, there's no workman's compensation. Your income stops, period. Your bills do not stop.
And how much do you hope to raise?
My actual hope on this, believe it or not, I'd like to raise $50,000. I know there are a couple of large companies in the city of Woburn, and I know there are a couple of large individuals who obviously I can't name. I don't have access to these people, but I hope through the newspaper and through this station, they actually are watching this broadcast and can step forward to help out. They've always helped out in the past, and these are your fellow merchants and residents that need you right now at the most.
So how much time do you have to put into this?
So far, I've put in about a week since this started. Basically every day dealing with the merchants, setting up the bank accounts. I've been afforded a little more time to set up the breakfast, where it's about a month away. But again, this doesn't just take me. This takes a big effort from members of the Kiwanis. I'm going to be calling on a couple of other civic organizations to help out. And of course, I'm relying on some help from my Medical Reserve Corps for the city of Woburn. They've already offered to help out the day off, help run the raffle, and help run whatever needs to be done the day off.
Were you at the fire?
I was not at the fire. I listened to it on the scanner. The last thing the city of Woburn needed was another body getting in somebody's way while they're trying to do their jobs and put the fire out and keep people safe.
And what did you think about the fire?
My thoughts on the fire were the Woburn Fire Department did a tremendous job. You have a 3-alarm fire. What the residents don't understand or don't even have access to know was this fire was burning for quite a while in the attic on the 2nd floor at turf time, which I believe was closed at the time of the fire. The fire went through the ceiling, and that's when the fire was noticed. Some of the merchants had about 6 minutes to get out of the building. The fire department came with a fire that already had a 30-minute head start. It's a very tough fire to fight. You're upstairs, it's smoky, there's limited access to it, and they had to do what they had to do best, get the people out, try to save the structure. And one other quick thing, people take the fire department for granted. You've got a fire across the length of a block. You've got an old structure that's been here for decades. You've got old wiring. You've got a very unsafe structure upstairs with things collapsing. You've got firemen going 30 feet off the ground, venting a roof. How you fight a fire is, A, you have to vent the roof with chainsaws, cutting holes in the roof to let the heat escape and let the smoke escape so the firefighters have a safer environment so they can see what they're doing. What can possibly go wrong when you're standing on 30 feet in the air with a chainsaw cutting through the roof that's about 2 inches thick with a fire raging underneath you? People take this for granted. These firemen come out every day to protect the city, to help our businesses, and to save us. If there was ever, God forbid, people in that fire, they would be the first ones in as other people are running out. And unfortunately, people don't give our law enforcement and our fire departments, they take them for granted. They don't get the credit they deserve.
If I gave you an open mic, which I did, what would you say to the residents of the city?
Now they've been granted an open mic, I would like to say, first, thank you for the support you've given so far, and I hope the city of Woburn can come together and rally behind these merchants so they can continue to pay their bills and open up shortly. We enjoy their services, they're a vital member of the community, and they need our help. Everybody can say, oh, I'm sorry that this happened, all those poor people. Well, you know, they need some help with us. $5, $10, $50, $100, a corporation's doing more. That's why Woburn's such a special place. I've lived here all my life. I've lived here through the 80s, the 90s when we had the water issues. I've lived here through other tragedies when there have been other fires. And Woburn is an amazing place to live. Everybody comes together and helps each other. And they said, the merchants, they need your help. The city department's doing a tremendous job. Our mayor, city council, the aldermen, they're all backing, trying to get funding for the merchants, but they can only do so much. Things in government obviously take time when it's out of their hands and they're going to the state. So the need right now is immediate. It's not a month down the road. As much as I'd like you to come to the breakfast, I'd rather you write a check and send it to TD Bank for the immediate need that these merchants have to currently pay their bills. And of course, by all means, come to the breakfast. At 9:30 during the breakfast, we'll be making a special presentation to the Woburn Fire Department and to the Woburn Police Department for the tremendous job they did to save what could have been a total disaster to the downtown business block. If anybody would like to get directly in touch with me as far as making donations or gift cards for our raffle or to help out at the breakfast, I can be reached easily by my email. That's dhrescue, that's D like David, H like Harry, rescue at Comcast.net. This will scroll across the bottom of your screen. I'll be more than happy if anybody could donate gift cards, anything for raffle items. I would love to see a raffle which could very easily top $1,000, $1,500. But again, this can't be done without the help of the community and without the help of your fellow businesses. You business owners out there, this could happen to you. Where would you be if this fire happened to your business? So please think about this, do what you've always done, and make Woburn the city that we're all proud to live in. I thank everybody to take the time that's already donated.